Let's talk a little bit about the current state of security operations, and how secure SecOps is really functioning today. What's working, more importantly, what's not, and where organizations are typically falling short. So, Chris, I'm going to kick off with yourself in terms of what operational weaknesses do you see repeatedly within the SOCs?
Yeah, I think this is probably true of, whether you're running a SOC, internally for a large organization or as a managed service provider. I think we probably see it as well. I think there's an element of sort of alert fatigue in the terms of being drawn into the sort of world of false positives, which is it's always the big problem with SOCs, and the vast amounts of information that you're now drawing in. That is and it continues to be a real problem. And having the time to sort of baseline the detection rules, that causes people a lot of issues. And if I talk to my current head of SOC operations in Digital X-Ray, he would tell you the same. And I think the other thing is the visibility side of things in terms of what clients want to be monitored, and because there's not many organizations that will turn around and go, we want to monitor everything. And what does that even mean as well? So most places and most clients are making a choice about what it is they want to have visible in the SOC. And of course, that's therefore you're only as good as the information you're taking in. So it's making those decisions around should be monitored and when and how. And I think that causes big issues. And I think just generally communication. I think if you're not careful, the nature of SOCs and how they operate, they tend to be fairly separate organizations away from the other departments. And it's true within Digital X-Ray, because they tend to operate in a separate environment which is secure within the company. So it's sort of physically siloed as well as being from a sort of a mental perspective as well, if you like. So I think communication becomes a big issue, and as I said, I don't think those are anything new, to be honest. But that's the issues that persist, I think, mostly within sort of SOC world. Certainly that I would see.
Obviously, both human and organizational factors are strongly influencing outcomes within security operations. How do client cultures and employee engagement impact overall SOC effectiveness?
So I would argue that the culture and employee engagement component of SOC effectiveness is I think it's a deciding factor in terms of how effective the SOC is. What comes to mind is, when you have a organization, a workforce, and then this is including the SOC, who buys into the idea of, this shared security responsibility. Everyone has their role to protect the organization, their assets, their client assets, whatever the context might be there. It's going to improve the effectiveness of the SOC.